everybody, my name is Tommy and today I'm going to talk about a very interesting thing which you might not see through these hundreds of people who shaped it. The wacky history of the cell theory. The wacky history of the cell theory. So what is the cell theory exactly? Today we're going to learn about it. Well, science isn't dudes and dudettes wearing white lab coats in a scientifically lab and then punch through many scientific enzymes calling beep. No, science is a lot of things, including Albert Einstein and the history, like I said, of the cell theory and Isaac Newton. Well, Robert Hooke's portrait was absolutely gone after Isaac Newton. And now, today, we're going to talk about it. People, such as scientists, naturalists, love to play around with these wacky instruments called the microscope. The microscope is an instrument used to see things bigger. Let's look at Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke was an amazing scientist, and he has shaped the modern world by actually making a new type of microscope. He made it so that it looked like the size of a sunglasses lens. If you stick two ones together, he would get a pair of hard sunglasses that people wouldn't really much see through. Now let's go back to Hooke's one. This is Hooke's microscope. Here, this is the piece of glass in the middle, and then there will be a pincher, which will pinch his finger in so it doesn't, fall out. It just, he looks through. Then the thing zoom out. He looks at anything he can see, even teeth gum. Now, let's move back to the fact that Robert Hooke was a real scientific fan. And of course, he was the one who invented the new type of microscope. He printed everything, including physics, chemists, and science, and everything in science, even philosophy. Okay, so let's move back to our Robert Hooke. When the most famous scientist of all, Isaac Newton, said that the microscope showed that Earth's gravity was potentially made from lots of different forces. And Robert Hooke stated that Isaac Newton was using his physics discoveries to put into Isaac Newton's speeches. Since Robert Hooke has made thousands of speeches, but Isaac Newton was only a young physics, so he was only 13. That's when he gave his first speech. So he knew a lot about the rules of physics to know that Isaac Newton was like that. But Isaac Newton really didn't like it. And when Robert Hooke died, Isaac Newton took his portrait and threw it in a fire so no one would ever remember his work. But we did, because this video is counting mostly on Robert Hooke. Let's move on. These two supporters of Robert Hooke. First is a scientist right in the other side of Germany, and one was in France. That scientist on the other side of Germany was studying about the microscopic plans, in which he looked through Robert Hooke's microscope and saw that when he saw that these things inside the things that he looked at in a microscope were moving. He called them animalcules because they looked like little animals to him. And of course, the other scientist in France other scientists in France got the name of cell, in which he looked at a quart bottle, and then he saw the little vents inside, which showed which reminded him of cells, or the place where monks sleep. Just imagine a college dormitory without the TV, the public toilet, the retro toilet, and a lot of annoying roommates. That's a cell. Okay, let's go back to the fact of the wacky history of the cell theory. Then, another one of Robert Hooke's friends who came from America stated that Robert Hooke's theory about cells was true, but it was actually a bit far-fetched. So if I come closer and let you look closely at the hand, you can see that there are a lot of dots in it. When I come closer, you see there are a lot of dots moving, right? That is the cell that is actually moving in my body. Okay, so now let's move back to our friend, the scientist who was Robert Hooke's friend from America. He was a specialist scientist in physics and naturalist and everything, who actually looked into plants and animals and saw that all plants and animals were made from cells. Plants made from cells, like the trees that we usually see today, or the plants outside my balcony. Second, animals. Animals like my fish at the balcony, or maybe stray dogs or stray cats out in the street that are looking for something good to eat. Okay, so that's the end of today's video about the wacky history of the cell theory. So that is the end, and bye-bye.